I don't think
It's not
so,
a WeiWei
brother.
champ, but a lot of the junglers that Qiyana doesn't like to see are off the table. And Guwon
True.
was playing this before it was meta, so I would not
So
be
now
surprised.
you just pick it as Guwon.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see a Guwon Qiyana, as I think he already has, hold on, 9 plays on it? Yep, 9 plays on it this year. That's a lot. I guarantee you that's more than any jungler in the LPL.
See if he actually brings it out for a 10th time. NIP have the pick of the litter of what they want with their first 2 picks here, as the Rise had gotten locked in for LNG. It's the Ezreal first, so again, some safety, but some sustained damage from NIP's bot lane.
Really high priority on the Ezreal. I've got folks telling me that Ziggs is just AP Ezreal, you know, with
True.
a meta that's so much about 3v3s mid.
Yo, come on,
Ezreal
Guwon,
can
chill,
really help support
bro.
that.
He just got out of the. He just got back in, man. He doesn't know how to deal with this kind of thing, man.
Only 2 Lee Sin games on the year for Guwon, but denying the Rise Lee Sin combo and taking a champion that might be good in the Qiyana herself. If that ends
And
up
the
being
pick
the
is
choice for WeiWei.
I feel like so good right now, man. Like it is
Yeah,
literally like one of the leading junglers if you have the mechanics.
I think it got tuned back a bit.
Little bit.
This last or with a recent nerf, but yeah, definitely a big deny. And I really did enjoy watching LNG Krako play the Lee Sin, as he is a mean Lee Sin player in the LPL. He always had the Lee Sin pass for me, but so far jungle not being matched, as WeiWei might be dropping his own pick to the next phase. Looks like priority on the Nautilus, which Nautilus nice against Ezreal Lee Sin, 2 slippery champions. Nautilus can help alleviate that, and Rumble coming in to combo with that as well.
I know we've been hearing some talks about Rumble, some rumblings, if you will, about him kind of falling out of prio in some regard in that top lane. But I still think, you know, he provides a lot of room in the team fights, as well as spacing with the equalizer, and not too shabby in lane. So I want to see what they want to craft alongside that, what they want to pair this jungle with, because we got the TF locked in for NIP.
Definitely sets up nicely for Hoya to try and take a pick that can pressure Rumble top. I will say Hoya was one of our players that was a little bit more biased towards the AD tops. Specifically was early to adapt the Varus that he played. So I don't think this is going to be TF top. I have a feeling this is going to be in Kare's hands, but neither Kare or Hoya has played TF yet this year. So we'll see if they end up flexing that one around, because I feel like the TF is not solidified in the position that he's in.
Yeah, I think it's okay into the Rise. I think the combo with Lee Sin is just so strong. So being able to have that yellow card into the gank from Lee Sin would be massive for NIP, and be able to find that kind of snowball effect that the Lee Sin wants.
It's into Rise, it's kind of like a soft counter. Rise gets more push and has more early pressure, but the gold cards later on, just really threatening for everyone that on the rifts. So end up seeing if that's the case. That said, Jhin and Sivir taken away, as Ezreal is showing. Meanwhile, with the Nautilus showing and no marksman for LNG, taking away some of those supports that might be paired up with Ezreal and the Rel, and then taking away an Ambessa for Hoya, because if you do end up having that Twisted Fate, I think it puts more onus on your own top laner to take a carry top if it ends up going mid. So Ambessa, of course, that premier pick that can play into Rumble. But if you're talking about TF maybe going top, shaking your head.
Don't do it. We're going 3 games, you know? That would be fun. We saw, unfortunately, Rookie play that last night and did not go too well for him. The Gnar will be locked in, so they're going to get that one for Hoya.
I didn't see where Rookie took the lock. Was it first rotation?
I think it was first pick, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think first pick lock's playable. I do think lock's very playable later on in the draft, but if you first pick lock, you're going to get Cassioed or Victored, and that doesn't
They're
feel
first or third. I can't remember.
Okay. So, yeah, I do think that lock, we need to see a few champs before we can pick lock. If you can take a team comp into lock, it's quite good. But, hey, a lot of the meta right now is about 3v3ing around the mid lane, and lock is really strong in those scenarios. So, that and the champions
old WeiWei champion right there. There you go.
Very supportive. Very supportive, Mazel. Kind of what we expected.
I just don't know. Does that have a place in the meta? That's WeiWei trying to break the mold here. We've seen so many teams highlighting aggressive assassin junglers, finding carries for their junglers. And WeiWei is going to be trying to be some of the old guard, it feels like, as MF also comes through.
A lot of wombo combo showing here for LNG. with the MF, the Rumble, and the Skarner Nautilus to boot. So, going to be about how they can find those 5v5s.
So good.
Leona's nice for trying to cancel him up. I think Alistar, for me, has a wee bit more value, just given that Ezreal is going to be fine in lane, and Alistar is better later on. So I'd prefer the Alistar. Just really value the ult and the ability to mess with MF, try and get her out. So
and that's
going to
why
be the
you're
case.
a colorcaster, and I'm a play-by-play.
Hey, you know what, Mazel? Both picks had value. I prefer the Alistar a bit more, given that it's Ezreal. I think that's if they wanted Leona a little bit more early pressure, that's fine. But I also think that Leona, you're going to go Merc Treads in the TF. So Leona value goes down a little bit when you have Mercs. Alistar ult gets you out of some good stuff, especially the Skarner ult. Can be really valuable to Unbreakable that. So I like this pick for Fengyue. And the 2 engagers for Fengyue, it feels like that's more of his forte. Again, I feel like Fengyue is rather somewhat consistent with his play between mages and engagers. But the engage play last game was quite good from him. So we'll see if that can continue this game.
We will. I think LNG have a lot to prove in this game number 2, figuring out if they can get the ball rolling at least a little bit. Guwon was feeling himself in game number 1 on the Nefiri, and now he's on the Lee Sin, an even bigger playmaker, at least individually. But it was about that presence in bot lane. I wonder if we still get another, at least, version of that here for NIP. What do you think?
Ooh. I think this draft is more even, but do think that there is opportunity for LNG to get that lead in the bot lane, just given that they have the MF and the Nautilus. So I do think that there's going to be a little bit more onus on Alistar to walk and leave Ezreal alone and try and go from there. But early priority should be in LNG's hands, which is, I think, a nice adaptation from last game. I just think that LNG has far more tools to make plays this game, and we saw them lack the tools last game and really struggle to get on the map. So an improved draft for them.
Well, we're back in the arena again, and we're in NIP's home. Can they go 2-0? We'll find out now.
Mazel, what do you even do in NACL when we spawn on the Rift and you don't have the Jayos?
It hurts
do you
my
pause
soul.
and think about it? Okay, it just hurts your soul.
Well, so the reason I do that is like originally they used to do it in the LPL, but they stopped doing it for a while, like letting the Jayos go. When I got into the LPL, I love NFL, and I've always been such a big fan of the energy at kickoff, and I think that's why I do that. No matter what, I do it at ACL either too.
I mean, there's nothing in
the
ACL.
Giants just make it feel better, you know.
Oh, 100%. I think the pause is epic. Well, you gotta let the fans chirp. I mean, I had a big tweet about TSM and CLG and my thoughts on that.
Oh my God. It's a bit of a reverse from game 1, huh?
Yeah, MF Nautilus should have some pressure early on. That's a level 2 early for NIP, as Ezreal had the push with Photic, but do think that MF Nautilus can win this lane, especially if stuff like that happens. Fengyue Pulverized did not connect. So good trades early for the NIP ball lane, or LNG ball lane.
It's going to feel real good. We're getting heavy trades all over the place here, even on the top side of the map. We see another exhaust for Photic. He was able to use that one pretty lethally last game. Love to see that. Want to see if he's able to do anything there. We will have the kind of opposite side starts for both junglers. So Guwon to be pathing away from this bot lane this time around. We'll see if WeiWei can maybe get his influence into that 2v2.
I like the fact that we were having more ADs take Exhaust. I think that Exhaust has been kind of slept on as a summoner spell. And
it's so
look,
good.
I as a player, I'm not as good as these guys. I used to play pretty consistently top 2,000 on the NA ladder. I competed for a collegiate team. I coached. I have some experience trying to play at a high level. But I really feel like the barrier and heal are so forward landing phase, and making sure you can get out of that with a lead or unscathed, depending on the matchup. But Exhaust, the impact it has throughout the entire game, especially if you have ADs like Lucian or like Ezreal that can use it proactively, it is a really strong summoner spell that can shut down someone that gets ahead, or shut down the assassins that we've had more common in the meta. So I like the fact that we have some more players opting for it, and see if Photic can make good use of it this game.
We'll see if so. I think it's just so cool, especially in the later fights, where if, you know, ADCs are prone to getting pounced on by some assassins, it might make it a little bit harder for them to do. As LNG going for a proactive play here, finally getting to see them try to snowball something. As I believe Guwon was able to get that initial, but WeiWei will clean up the rest of the Chicky Nuggies. And this is something we didn't see in game number 1, is some of that mobility to link up with WeiWei.
Actually, I like the response here for Guwon. Good ward from... Yeah, good ward from Ya. As the control ward gets dropped, but Guwon's going to want to try and contest the Raptors of WeiWei himself. As he did get the big chicken, didn't get the rest, but instead just going to get some information. Go from there.
Yeah, WeiWei playing very safe this time around, just kind of playing towards his condition, which I'm sure they had a long conversation about playing towards their win conditions at least. Last time around, they weren't able to do so. See if they can kind of continue to move forward with this one. They have a lot of big scaling pieces like we were talking about last game for an IP, and that's something they need to think about.
I know YCX didn't get involved with any play up there, but I actually like the fact that they brought YCX too, just in case, because I think that was the answer for Guwon, given that WeiWei skipped over his crab take to try and contest those Raptors. So good movement from YCX, even if it didn't lead to anything. I think that was the right walk from him. As sneaking into a control ward now, Guwon going to try and look bot is spotted.
The exhaust, it's so big. The Sonic Wave delay and the kill is over. The game over emote comes up from Guwon, and that's a point in said for NIP.
And Guwon hit B, went to his Krugs. Again, he kind of broke the script in terms of pathing. Just given the show bot or top side, he had the option to either... if he goes bot, he has Krugs to the bot lane gank. If he goes top side, then he'd be clearing down again. But breaking that script, breaking the path again, really valuable against this LNG bot lane, who didn't see it coming this time around. They had the wave pushed up, weren't able to get it in, and got caught out in transition. Trying to get that wave in as Guwon punishes them yet again. And if you are an NIP fan from last split, Mazel, few better signs that you can see than Guwon starting off on a heater.
Look at this, look at this, look at this, though. Hoya had already started the initial engage, waiting for the Destiny Gate to come up, and NIP are looking to make plays. Sheer on the wrong side of the tracks here. The yellow card's going to be there, and yeah, it's just all she wrote here. The equalizer to try to clear the wave, and they're going to give the kill over to Care.
Honestly, really nice that Sheer gets the wave. I don't think that he gets to play out of that one, so Sheer did his damnedest to make sure he gets what he can. Like the kill being given to Care, because he's going to lose a wee bit mid. Could walk in here with Guwon, but Nya going to try and play around it, but walking right into Guwon, who the observers baited us. Yeah. They did. That's well played. Whenever the observers trick us, you know, usually like to think that we're all on the same team. As a broadcast and a production top-down, even if we have no recollection or no communication with the feed that we get. Observers tricking you, that's a positive. I feel like that's, you know, it's like a nice little Trojan horse sneaking in there.
Something that did happen during that, and happened like almost at the second that Sheer got the kill or died, it was the Dragon take by LNG. So they at least get their first neutral objective of the series.
It's the right response. As Fengyue going to try and get involved against the Rise. Can't quite get in range, but good pickup by WeiWei. Takes that on a play from NIP. And again, kind of the response from that bot kill going over. Once they come back, Photic and Fengyue, they had the base reset themselves. And of course, that play went down top. So the Dragon available to take for LNG. Good pickup by WeiWei. We'll see what happens around the Grubs, though. Because I know Grub's not as valuable as Dragons, but do feel like Guwon and Care just being a wee bit ahead now. Yeah. Usually, I'd favor the Rise, Skarner, Rumble, but I think that if they're able to use Guwon or Care to try and get up and get involved against Sheer in the top lane, maybe a punish can lead to a potential grub priority here for NIP.
Just looking at this duo, man, it's so powerful when you can get the combo off of the Lee Sin and the Twisted Fate. Care's going to have his Destiny coming up here soon. We actually just saw Hoya burn his Mega Gnar ult on topside, and Fengyue is already up here. He was spotted on the ward, and Grub started up.
Fengyue TP'd up. He's got Spellbook, so that's a bonus member. YCX is coming to respond too. Guwon did smite away one Grub.
LNG
WeiWei.
really want to fight that, but they're hesitant.
WeiWei's got
Cubby.
smite.
They don't want to move in.
WeiWei's going to smite one away.
That's going to be the yellow card. They full in straight onto Care. They don't get the damage down onto him. The kick comes through to deny the impale, and now Hoya's stacking back up the Mega Gnar, but he doesn't even need it. He's throwing boomerangs at people. The dredge line goes wide from YCX as it's going to be Sheer coming over to reinforce, but it's a 4v3. LNG taking a fight that they're down a man. They're just getting completely torn apart here, and Guwon's flashing on people. Fengyue's not even going to go down, throws up the excited Teemo, the Baron pat on the head, and then I pay 5-0, 8.5 minutes in.
This was an uncompetitive series, Mazel. Wow, that was a stinker. I really don't know how else to respond to that. WeiWei had a smite up. I feel like he could have smote one of those grubs away.
Yo, Photic, my goat. Dude, this guy is just going ham.
Yeah, well played, Photic. So a win on the bot side as well. And I'm looking at a 3 grub, 3k gold lead NIP. 9 minutes in.
That's disgusting.
I would almost love to see a replay of that fight, because I really don't want to, you know, have a fight perspective where I don't celebrate the good play of NIP, but I feel like the poor play of LNG is the highlight of this.
They were initially so hesitant.
He's got a 1k smite. You could quick up and smite that away. Instead, like there's never up a man. Sheer's late because of the wave.
WeiWei did,
and then they don't decide to get out. Like they. Yeah, like Nia could have walked out here. He could have borked off, but instead, they sign up for a very losing fight. And when you don't have the upfront damage necessary, you get to kind of play to the beat of the gold card's drum. And so every gold card that came out for Care was just a winning trade for an IP, and that ended up being, what was it, a 4-for-0 in grubs, and then a win bot from Photic. That was very split from LNG and very poor.
Your entire confiscate based around a lot of the lockdown that WeiWei is bringing, and all I saw WeiWei do in that fight was get the initial engage, impale, get kicked back, and then unfortunately had to stand there while he was stunned and died. And that's not what you want to see the facilitator for the team be doing. And unfortunately for LNG, they are just down in the hole big time, and it looks like that hole might just get deeper.
YCX is going to hover mid, and the play is not mid.
So
it's actually
cooked.
bot. The play is bot.
They didn't even need Guwon. Guwon's just there as a spectator.
He didn't even need Unbreakable. Just, you know, maybe, I gotta say, for Fengyue, this split, maybe he's just really trying to show Photic that he's the better support, you know?
Yeah, he should be.
Photic and Zhuo. Some history with WeiWei, by the way, going back to, I guess not the V5 days. That was PP God. How could I forget about the greatest IGN that ever existed in this game?
Greatest player of all time.
Oh.
Fengyue is going to pop the Unbreakable finally. 2-man. Oh, he gets knocked into it. Fengyue might go down. YCX hits a beautiful dredge line into the double depth charge, but he is going to go down first. Fengyue hasn't died, but finally does. It's WeiWei that ends up getting him initially, and now Nia is going to help pick up another kill here as it actually goes over to 1xN. Sheer showed up too as he TP'd in. They're going to try to realm warp on a Photic. Photic trying to get the up. They just sent 1xN by himself. The bullet time comes through, and they get the kill for it anyways.
Okay, Sheer's TP gets some, I'd say 2 bonus kills from that engage. What can Hoya get on the top side for that? We'll see. But neutral still goes over to NIP. Gold lead is still pretty much the same. I do want to give LNG some credit. I feel like that was decently well played, but a lot invested with Sheer TPing as Fengyue. That dredge line from YCX gets him out of the pool, and then yeah, nice ward dash by Guwon to get out of that. And from here, again, the Sheer TP coming in, I do feel like this kind of gets them the bonus kill on Photic, as Guwon, a little split with the rest of the team, was going for a big play. Maybe didn't catch the fact that Sheer was behind because his team had to run away from the Rumble instead of follow up on that. What would have been, you know, trade your life to try and trade someone else out play from Guwon.
So the dust settles, as he said, not much of a change in the lead, but still some shining moments from LNG. Probably the most we've seen from them in the series so far.
Where's the Gnar at after that? That's my real question. Yeah, Hoya's
about
up
1,000 gold up.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about moving forward, because Sheer's down a full level off that too. So
yeah,
again, I feel like that Sheer TP, it got him something, but a lot was invested to lose the neutral and get a few kills. Was that enough overall? I'm going to go with a no, because I think that if Gnar gets ahead in this game, the ability for TF and Lee Sin to crash into his lane and blow up that matchup against the Rumble, really high. And Sheer's TP, it's going to... Yeah, they've already swapped up the lanes. They have the Rise going into the Gnar now off the reset instead of having the Rumble, where I think Rise might be able to play out of a TF ult coming to his lane a little bit better than the Rumble.
And I've just been really appreciating the combo of Guwon, Care, and Fengyue moving around together. I feel like it's such a deadly trio to be running into by any of these members of LNG.
I'm just happy to see Fengyue playing well. I really feel like he was, in a way, slighted by top esports. I think that of all the supports to grab, I've never really been pro Zhuo. And Fengyue, I feel like baseline for a young player was rather consistent, which is a huge compliment to give a young player in a league that has the volatility that LPL does, you know? So to see him, I think have that last team fight was a flub, but that's the first flub we've seen from him today, as he's been really solid and seems to be syncing up with a team that did have some pre-existing synergy between, you know, Care and Guwon pretty well. It's been good to see.
Care finding his own. I've always been a Care fan. Stuck around the FPX days until unfortunately they crumbled. But,
yeah.
Very nice. Nice to see
him and
him
Sheer.
Yeah.
It was kind of a fun team with at least the Shadow days. I remember them split 2 of last year. I felt like
and then
Sheer...
Papa BLG came knocking, said, "Give me your player."
Yeah, you know, that's okay. That happens.
And then they did that to TT. And then
and they're doing it to a former TT member that's on the Rift right now.
Again.
And it's not 1xN. It's Hoya. Yeah.
Rant over. Rift Herald started though. It is LNG that are moving up.
Oh, Fengyue.
There's a flank. There's a massive flank from Fengyue. Realm Warp coming in. That's TP as well, I believe, coming through from Sheer. Depth charge going to be used on a Guwon. He does flash preemptively to get away from it. Rift Herald secured by WeiWei. YCX very low, though, and they're getting surrounded. Fengyue just goes into the pit. The Rift Herald has been popped. WeiWei trying to use it as an escape tool. No, it's the other one. As he goes through the wall, Hoya gets the double, the triple. He's looking for the knockback, and he gets him big time. He's going to try to take down Sheer's. Care comes back around from the side, as I don't know what XN found himself doing, but he is not a part of this fight, and NIP clean up.
That took the Shelly to the hills and tried to escape as the rest of NIP clean up the fight. Great engage from Hoya and a great start to the play from Fengyue, who does go down, but I think well worth the life of the cow.
Did we lose Cubby? Is Cubby still alive?
No, I'm still here. I was trying to do a Odysseus transition. I was blanking on the cows that were eaten by the crew.
Apollo.
You know, okay, so Fengyue here is Apollo's cow, and 1xN is Odysseus. And the Shelly's the ship. He takes the ship, he rides the wave, and he gets back to Ithaca. As the rest of his crew is left to...
And then they kill all the suitors, right? That's what...
Yeah. Well, no, not the suit. Not yet. We're not at that point of the story yet.
Okay.
LNG is going to be the suitors later on. Yeah, but right now, 1xN's Odysseus. He was the only one that was worthy enough to get out, thanks to Shelly and riding the wave beside me, you know, through the river.
I love the stretch.
We got there.
I needed that before the warm-up.
I needed the paw. I was like, what cows were in the movie again? It was Apollo. Thank you.
You're welcome. I got you. Lay up.
I'm sorry for the spoilers, by the way, for a story that's existed for 3,000 years. I apologize. Sure. I apologize.
How dare you? The lead keeps growing. Another dragon goes the way of NIP. That is 2 dragons now in a row that they've taken. And honestly, I think LNG, they're just happy to be here at this point. They've gotten a Rift Herald, they've gotten a dragon. It was both of their first neutral objectives of the series. And now they've got to find a way to put it together. They have scaling pieces. We've talked about it, but I don't know if that timer is going to be soon enough.
I don't think it's going to be soon enough whatsoever, Mazel, because for me, LNG gets outscaled this game. I really prefer TF, Ezreal, Alistar as this game goes on versus their counterparts. Do think that Skarner and Rumble scale decently well, but...
I think the Rise more importantly.
Yeah, it scales, but not against TF, because the gold cards kind of shut you down.
Yeah, true.
So
Dude,
we'll
Guwon's
see.
just walking into no vision enemy jungle with Fengyue coming over top and the double knockback. He's going to get the Destiny Gate in here too. Carrick instantly gets depth charge. Hoya's waiting for the big Meganar ult on the side, but he's just dying to turrets here as he gets flashed on by Nya. I don't know what Hoya was thinking, but he just gave his life away.
That's a +1 for LNG. They can't get any neutrals out of it, but we just get a kill for themselves. A little bit ambitious there from Hoya. NIP should be able to clean up this wave as LNG. You know, I think this was an opportunity for LNG to at least send one top. Instead, they're going to lose a wave, potentially two. And yeah, I've been really bummed about LNG today, Mazel. I really...
Yeah.
I know that LPL coaches, we don't usually talk about them a lot because it's hard to see value outside a couple that are high performers like Danny and Tabe. But Coach Edgar has a hell of a resume if you go throughout his career. And this is not the map play that I would expect out of a Edgar team that I typically think very highly of.
Going to race down towards bot side. Nya trying to use his speed to get away. The Stall's impact's going to come through on a Fengyue to deny any further movement. There is going to be the at least Ghost burned by Nya, so that could be returned to. But something to think about a little bit more as we go into these next setups, especially around the Dragon in a while. We are hitting those second item spikes. Does that change anything here, even with the advantage for NIP?
No. This should be NIP favored for the rest of the game, Mazel.
Yeah.
That's
what I expect.
I would love to give you more excitement.
Heartsteel?
Oh, yeah, stacky wackies. It's a 91. Infinite scaling. You never know what can happen.
Dude, we're in it, bro. We're in it. We just need to get to 300 so it triples, right? That's how this works?
Depends on which augments.
Steal your heart.
Yeah,
Okay.
It depends on the augments.
True Shot Barrage coming across, giving a little bit of scouting, and actually taking Sheer down a peg there too. We have side lane pressure coming through from Care. He is just all by his lonesome, taking a free tier 2 turret with all the plates on top.
Look at the top wave. Look at the top wave. Like Sheer has to go answer that right now. They're late to every wave. And they're not getting anything for being late to these waves, which is why we see the gold lead now going up to 4K. So, again, to be fair to LNG, I think it's a tough spot for them. Really feel like the rise and bot side they took, they index more towards the early games than what NIP has for themselves. But some of these responses and plays that we're seeing from them, this is a wombo combo comp from LNG, and we haven't seen them get the team fight set up necessary to execute it.
But that also gives a lot of praise over to NIP, who have truly shown on the fact that we've seen these setups from them, kind of the play through Guwon, the map movements as well, and trying to use these advantages to continue pushing the pace of the game, right? They won in 26.5 minutes last game, and it was because of those macro decisions, because of the map movements around the map, and it's been really nice to see NIP find consistency in that, because again, we did not expect them to be knocked down to Group Nirvana in split number 3.
Yeah, and I mean, it is kind of nice to see NIP at least come back with such a, I'd say, convincing showing in their opener.
Mm-hmm.
As this was the team that was 5th in the regular season for last split.
Yeah.
And they were a team that, again, the least likely team that we felt like was going to demote to Group Nirvana in that do or die best of 5. So
the outer turret. Oh, he got him. All right.
All right.
It's more gold. The final outer turret does fall. NIP have a lot more wiggle room between the bases of LNG, or at least between the lanes. You can see LNG just kind of trying to hold the line here. 4-1 setup for them as a defensive structure, but the Destiny's going to be popped in top lane. Yellow card connects. They can't get the damage down because the turret's already firing.
Dragon is up. It looks like the focus is on the side lanes and using the grubs as the turret falls topside, and NIP is going to leave this one to LNG. So Dragon given, gold acquired.
Were they leaving
Baron
it?
attempted.
Maybe it's just an appetizer. As this is bold, NIP. How many games have we seen flipped on its head because of an errant Baron? And the realm warp over, NIP immediately pull off, realizing they maybe bit off a little bit more than they could chew. LNG's comp, they're starting to stand tall here with some of these pieces together. Together strong.
That's why Hoya is leaving, right? No.
Not confirmed, Cubby.
Yeah. Not confirmed. Not confirmed. It's nice being the unofficial broadcast sometimes, you know? Get things wrong like that, and the coach of LNG. As it's not Edgar, it was Numao. You know, I saw not Edgar walk out on stage. Edgar was, of course, the coach of LNG last split. Not
Lumao
coach.
goated. Dude, Lumao's been making the rounds as coach. Helping out BLG.
He was an entertaining player. He was. I heavily associate Fiddlestick support with Lumao.
Is that a good thing?
He played a lot of it.
Are we gonna bring that back now? We've got Camille, you know. We got
No, if you want to bring that back, go open up League Classic that comes out pretty soon for everyone at home, because Fiddlestick support was not discovered until too late in League Classic, and boy oh boy is that champion BS down there.
Yeah, I think the champion's a little bit nuts.
It was not discovered till too late. When they discovered it, they instantly nerfed it because the bouncing E's were way too OP.
As I want to turn some attention to this Care character in the mid lane. Had a 2.5 gold lead in the solo lanes of NIP, but Care on this Twisted Fate has really kind of set the tone for this game number 2 so far, and it looks like it might be the case again. He's waiting to pop that Destiny. We'll just use it for vision for now. Photic's feeling himself as well, as the defense continues for LNG, just trying to put out any fire they can.
Curious what happens around this pairing, so I really feel like we're just kind of waiting for NIP
really
to rip it.
Start it.
Yeah, we're waiting for NIP to rip it and then action to happen from there. Until then, it just feels like NIP is going to have priority on the map, and we'll go from there. Next Dragon spawning, of course, soul points available for both teams, but NIP is still the team with the 6k gold lead, which, of course, bit Twisted Fate inflated. We'll call it a 4k gold lead. With TF, of course, being rather wealthy himself in the mid lane for Care.
Stealing money from people.
It is the Wild Wild West, Mazel.
Oh, they're actually going to make a play on a YCX here. A wall bang comes through on the Fengyue. Fengyue gets dragged back in. He's going to have to do something to get himself out as he gets impaled through. Oh! 4-man knock-up, and he's still alive! He's still alive! Okay, he finally dies, but that means NIP have already won the fight when all of the focus goes to the support. Shear's trying to make a hero play, but he just gets put down in the dirt. The yellow card comes through. The FPX emote comes up. A triple kill for Care and a Baron for the Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Love seeing Fengyue emoting in the player cam too. We saw some emotion, some clapping, as that was a 4-man ground pound that absolutely stymied any chance of a win in the fight for LNG. The brand new support for NIP, who really traded places with Zhou, showing that he's got some life to him in this one, as Fengyue made this fight work. Initial engage onto the Nautilus to peel off the Baron. Yeah, it's a bit funky here, but he absorbs so much through the Unbreakable. And then it was a flash Q. I mean, that's Unbreakable for you. Only a rank 1. Doesn't matter. But that ruined the fight. Equalizer dropped.
It
was bad. Yeah, it wasn't good enough. It was escaped from pretty fast by Hoya and Photic, as the support falls again for LNG. YCX goes down, and the push continues as NIP putting the finishing touches to a rather convincing 2-0 to open up their Group Nirvana journey.
And I'm extremely proud and happy for NIP, especially Fengyue. Fengyue just put on a highlight reel this series, and so did Guwon. I think Care has shown up really big here, but I'm disappointed in LNG, a team that I really wanted to see kind of give them a fight, thinking it was going to go to 3 games, but NIP proved they have put it together, that they are trying to contest for that top 2 here in Group Nirvana. That's the goal for all these two teams. And now that we've seen both sets, we know that NIP might just be the real deal. There's going to be the knock-through coming through. YCX doesn't find anything, neither does WeiWei. And WeiWei's debut in 2026 is going to go down in sadness as NIP are putting the finishing touches. Fengyue still unkilled, still going forward, at least in this moment. And the Nexus falls. NIP 2-0 in their home arena debut.
Really convincing win for them out of Group Nirvana. Again, this was a team that finished as the 5 seed in Group Ascension last split, or Group Ascend last split. To see Fengyue giving some hugs out.
Oh,
good for him. And honestly, what a feel-good moment for Fengyue, who, going from the international stage in his rookie year, gets demoted to Group Nirvana. To see him all smiles, all waves in front of the fans of his home crowd here for NIP after a fantastic performance, what I think is an MVP performance for him, at least for the game too. Got to be a feel-good moment for our tall support here in the LPL.
Gotta love it, and gotta feel really good. You could see, just to give one last little point here.
That made me happy.
The interview with Fengyue, yeah.
He's a great character. Seeing the hugs, the waves, that made me really happy actually for him. So again,
go ahead.
Him for Schwo? I'm not a fan myself. Not a fan. It's got to feel good for Fengyue to go, play his best, and look good. Yeah.
And some definitely disappointed faces on LNG. You could see it in the player cams, especially in that last big fight. 1XN was kind of scratching his head. I think there's not much time for this LNG team to go upwards, but they need to make a lot of distance because that was a really tough series to watch. A lot of disconnected moments. The draft's not helping them out too much either. And you wonder how this team kind of puts it together moving forward.
Yeah, that didn't look like much to build off of, to be fair. I don't really know. I don't really know how to talk about this series from the LNG perspective, honestly, because I think Game 1 we saw a pretty poor draft. And Game 2 we saw a draft that we felt like was much more cohesive. But they can never really sync up and execute their game plan, which was womboing. So, yeah, that's going to be a really tough one to diagnose from the LNG perspective. And, again, a team that coming in, I think that as a broadcast team, we feel like this is the team that's most likely to finish last in Group Nirvana. Sadly, that was an outing that solidifies my opinion more than dissuades it. So, see if LNG can change that the next time around. Of course, 3 out of the 5 pieces on that team are new. Have a lot of work to do in terms of coming together. But for NIP, gotta say, if that's the last outing we see of NIP Hoya, was a good one for him and the team. We'll see what happens with NIP moving forward if that rumored move of Hoya to BLG does indeed happen.
Yeah, we'll see how that team pans out, what happens in the future, especially for this team, as if that does happen, what they would do at top lane.
I gotta say, you know, I've had a lot of fun memeing about Hoya. I think the memes have included BLG Hoya inspired me with more hopium than Project Hail Mary. Also included the someone get these beggars out of here meme if when Knight sees Hoya in the top lane share. Yeah. But yeah, you know, for Hoya, he's a player for me that has always he's been a middle of the pack top laner. And I think that he sees the map well. He views the game well from that aspect, but individually has never really been good enough to be considered an elite top laner in the LPL, or one that I have a lot of confidence in going internationally. We'll see if that can change with BLG. To be fair, the few years that I've followed Hoya, this has been his best, and I think it's really hard to argue with that. So I know that I've had my fun poking fun at, you know, Shaq for Kwame Brown as Hoya potentially steps in for BLG. However, opportunity for Hoya to prove himself on the biggest stage that he's going to be granted. And he was a top laner that looked okay in Group Ascend last split. So I want to see if he can look good on what is the strongest team that we have in the LPL.
Yeah. And I guess that's a question for the future, as we will also be having PLG later today. So we'll see what Winbo has in store.
Yeah, we'll see what Winbo has in store.
I'm just saying, Yorick v Yorick, I'd take Winbo's Yorick over Hoya's at this point.
Now, I will say, Winbo has to be the center that played before Kwame Brown actually earned the starting spot after Shaq. whose name
Just
I'm
keep
blanking
going
on.
at this, aren't you?
Well, Andrew Bynum. So it could be like Wembo's Kwame Brown,
Just
and then
saying names
Hoya's
at this
Andrew
point.
Bynum. If Hoya plays well, he'll be considered closer to Andrew Bynum than he will be Kwame Brown. But Ben's still Shaq. That is for sure. And we'll see if ends up being, you know, Wembo's the center that's not Kwame Brown, and then Hoya's Kwame Brown. I think Hoya can dictate that. As I've taken my analogy way too far, Mazel.
You're going off the deep end, and I'm here for it.
You probably have no idea what I'm talking about basketball.
No, I have
That's
literally
fine.
no.
That's fine.
I know Shaq.
Yeah.
I got that.
I just have to say that probably the best Stephen A. Smith rant, which I ended the broadcast with last night. The best Stephen A. Smith rant was about Kwame Brown, who he called a bona fide scrub, and I will share that with you after. Hoya is not a bona fide scrub, but we'll see. He might be one on BLG. Who knows? That said, very positive win for him and the team here, as I really feel like the individual that did 2.9k damage in that game is going to walk away with the pog, hopefully.
I really hope so. He absolutely deserves it. But an impressive showing from NIP. I think this one a little bit less in Guwon's hands and a little bit more in his laner's hands, which is a good duality to have across the series.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think that, again, for me, last split with NIP, it was if Guwon plays well, this team can win. If not, this team doesn't look good. Because I think Guwon takes risks early on, and this is a meta that should work for that. I think that Guwon created a lot of action, for better or worse, last split for NIP, and we saw that action come up positive for his team in this series, as I'm really just waiting for what was the fantastic Fengyue engage later on that really shut this game down for NIP against LNG, because that was the highlight play of the series we had, Mazel.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting part. I don't want to talk about LNG too much more because it was a tough outing. I hope they have a better time in their next series. Again, only 5 more series left for both these two teams, but if we're looking at it now, it's oh, no.
That's a nice touch. That's a nice touch, Ilya.
Oh, no.
I appreciate that.
But it's so true. Now they're drowning. But NIP, IG, snapshot of Group Nirvana, top of the group, 1-0. Yo.
I think NIP versus WeiWei, that could dictate the group. It really could. I think that with the Shy and Rookie, that's enough pedigree for me that I don't really care what form they're in. I feel like they've got to be better than both these teams. I really do. Especially if Hoya is not an NIP, because I think that whatever top laner NIP brings in, not likely to be better than Hoya. So, I was thinking of centers that are worse than Kwame Brown, and that list is short. But anyway,
I'll just keep going. If you want, keep talking.
No, I missed Fengyue's. Oh no, here it is. Here's the format. I was waiting for that. Yeah. This was a slam dunk.
I didn't get to see how I was casting. I didn't get to see him emoting in the camera. I wanna go back and look at it.
That was after he died in the last fight, but he claps, you know. And I always say, you know, as someone's worked with some teams, mostly mid-masters teams, beat a scholarship team every year as a non-scholarship program. You know, a little bit of pedigree there. But rule 1, hype up the boys. You got to hype up the team. Yeah. Hyping up the boys, building confidence. You got to build each other up. Matters in anything that you do. See Fengyue stepping into a new team and doing that right off the rip on top of putting some good play out there. Can't help but root for our tall tree in the bot lane at support, as was a good look for him in this debut outing with NIP.
Still shocked to see him having moved teams, but I wish him the best here. Hopefully he'll be able to continue performances like this. But now we're going to be getting to player of the game and man of the match, 607. Make sure that separation stays in there. A beautiful performance from Care.
Okay. We didn't see this one coming. I wanted to give my support some love. However, I think that Care's proactivity, top lane was good and really solid TF game, 607. He was very far ahead compared to Niaz Rise. And yeah, solid look for Care and the whole team. Kind of curious what the votes were. I'm hoping the AI went for Fengyue. I might have positive thoughts for the AI if it actually voted All right, never mind. We don't. Guwon? Why are we voting Guwon? Why?
That's crazy. We also had a Hoya vote. Probably trying to get one last Hoya vote in, you know?
That's the narrative vote right there. that's the narrative vote. AI, I'm going to go with the Winners Club Keck W vote. Bringing back the old LCK Media Keck W votes. One of the better memes in the LCK chat that is beloved. Now we get the AI Keck W votes. But yeah.
Who do you got,
Anyway.
man of the match?
I
I think it's Fengyue. I think over 2 games.
I think
he had
it's
the
got to
best
be
consistent
Guwon.
performance.
I
Ooh,
think
really?
it just
Even
has
after
to.
the Lee Sin game?
It wasn't a bad Lee Sin game.
It wasn't bad, but Fengyue had
he made a big splash in game 1. Oh, well, they're gonna give it to Care. All right, we're both wrong.
What?
Hey, you know what? Props Care.
Why?
Oh, because he put the big game 2, and we have recency bias here, Mazel. Congrats to Care. Congrats to NIP on a great first outing. Mazel, I'm not joining for the next series, so any
Me
thoughts on our Thunder Talk EDG Group Ascend series before we say sayonara?
You just turned the table on me. I don't like this. This makes me uncomfortable. I'm the one
any
that asked the
thoughts?
questions.
I was going to give some thoughts.
No, I do think EDG, you're trending on the up. I think Leave has shown some serious mechanical ceilings that we love to see in the ADC position. I just need to see the whole team come together for that. I'm wondering what TT bring to the table here today as well.
I don't have a lot of confidence in TT. I kind of hate to say it. Sorry, Kelsey Moser, who is our beloved TT fan out here with the LPL. But no, I think Leave is one of the highest ceiling mechanical ADs that we have. It should be a fun addition for EDG as he makes his way into Group Ascend. And honestly, for EDG, and that's a top side where Xiaohao and ZDZ felt like they were pretty solid. And the addition of Bulldog coming in, player that was, of course,
He popped off last series.
Yeah, I really feel like Bulldog with Krako was the best of LNG. And so Bulldog getting that bump up. We'll see how he syncs up with Xiaohao, who I felt like was the driving force for EDG in Group Nirvana. I think that there is actually a lot of pieces in this team, especially with Coach Malachi coming in, where I could see EDG kind of being the sneaky sleeper team in Group Ascend. So I hope they take care of business for TT and kind of build on what I think could be for this team in the group.
Yeah, we will. But that is it for us for our first series. Still 2 best of 3s locked and loaded. So make sure you stick around, get hydrated, and get ready for that second series. We got Gordo and Alk coming on for it, and we'll see you there.